This is the Bushnell Tour Hybrid Rangefinder, and it can do something that no other rangefinder can do that might make it the best smart rangefinder for most people. However, in my testing, there is one thing that I've been having a hard time with that I can't quite get past. So the question is, should you buy it? Let's find out.
Oh, and by the way, you might have noticed, not the typical background you're used to seeing here, and that is because I'm on a week-long road trip through Nova Scotia with my dad. Today we are at Fox Harbor Resort, which is about an hour and a half from Halifax. This place is so cool. 1,100 acres right on the Northumberland Strait, some beautiful golf holes, and if you're lucky, throughout this video, I might even play a hole or two, so keep watching.
All right, so before we go into first impressions, let's talk about what makes this so unique. It is the only rangefinder that has a built-in GPS into the unit. So most smart rangefinders, you're going to need an app that you pair it to get all your distances. It's kind of a pain because a lot of the time it's gonna drop, and if you haven't used it in a while, you're gonna have to pull out the app. It's just not a great process. This, it's all built in. You don't have to use an app. You basically get up to the first tee, you shoot the flag, it's gonna say 2 seconds later, it's gonna give you the course that you're on, and from there on out, you've got yardages front, center, and back.
Hey, real quick, Editing Sean here. Just wanted to clarify one thing. I just said this was the only rangefinder I've used that has built-in GPS. What I meant was, it's the only rangefinder I've used that has built-in GPS in the viewfinder. There are plenty of other products like the Milesea Gene Pro G1, the Voice Caddy SL3, that do have GPS units you do not need an app for that have external displays. But this is the only one I have tested, and I think, as far as I know, it's the only one that's currently out there that has built-in GPS in your viewfinder without having to use an app. Just wanted to clarify that before I got a whole bunch of comments on it.
So right out of the box, aside from the fact there are now so many competitors to Bushnell, it used to be Bushnell was the king of rangefinders. They still probably are, but there is a lot more competition and people that are doing really good devices at much lower prices. But the one thing you will notice with any Bushnell device is it just feels well built. Like, out of all the rangefinders out there, this just feels solid. It's a nice combination of materials, robustness, build quality, and this thing feels great. If you're looking for a comparison, it feels very similar to the previous generation V6 or V6 Shift. Form factor, very similar, but across the board, this is just a really nice rangefinder to use. It feels good, and I've been really impressed with that. So before we get into the GPS features, let's talk about just performance as a standard laser rangefinder. Honestly, it works great. It's very fast, it's very responsive. The jolt feature, something you would never notice unless, like me, you've tested dozens of rangefinders. Not all vibration features are created equal. So if you're new to rangefinders and you're like, what's a vibration feature? Basically, when you push the button, it locks onto the flag. This will vibrate and jolt. It will also give you a visual indicator in the form of a red ring around the viewfinder. But the vibration on this just feels very good. It feels very tactile. It feels very high end. And I can't necessarily say that for all other brands. In terms of accuracy speed, this thing is dead on. It feels as good as any rangefinder that I have used. The optics in it feel very good. Even though it's only 6x optics, they are very clear. If you've seen any of my other rangefinder reviews, you might know that I prefer 7x optics. Everything just looks a little bit clearer. It's easier to get the pin. But honestly, that's a feature that comes in very few rangefinders. And if you find one that does have it, it's probably going to be very expensive. That being said, this is not an inexpensive device. It retails for $500 or $499.99. Usually you can find it for $450, but that is a lot of money to spend on a rangefinder. So if it's essentially the same as the V6 Shift, except $50 more, and you can get other rangefinders that work just as well for hundreds of dollars less, well then why should you buy this? And that's where the hybrid component comes in. So that's the thing that makes this thing so unique. The fact that the GPS is built in, as I explained earlier. So now let's talk about the GPS feature of this. So the most similar experience I've had to using this is with the Precision Pro Titan Elite. They were the first ones to really create a laser rangefinder that in the viewfinder had front, middle, back GPS yardages. The difference between these two devices is that with that one, you have to use an app. And honestly, it takes extra time to pair. If you haven't used it in a few holes, sometimes it'll lose connection. You'll have to pull your phone out. It's fine, but it's not the best user experience. With this, having the GPS built in, you get up to the first hole, you turn it on, you'll see a little indicator while it's connecting to the satellites, and then it'll show you the course you're on, you hit the button, away you go. For the rest of the round, you are going to have all those GPS yardages every single time you go range a distance. You don't have to be connected to your phone, and I gotta say, it works really well. Honestly, for the most part, when I've used other GPS devices that have to have an app, I haven't really cared too much. Yeah, it's a little inconvenient here and there, but now that I've used this and having it all built in, it's It's really nice. The GPS yardages I got were oftentimes a couple yards off what my Garmin watch had, but honestly, that just depends on where you're getting your GPS data. It was never massively different, so it really didn't affect me that much. And then you can always get the exact number to the flag by using the standard laser rangefinder. As with most Bushnell rangefinders, this also has their bite magnetic mount. It is super bitey. It's not going to come off a cart unless you hit some really big bump. I've had absolutely no issues with that, so if that's a concern, you don't need to worry about it. While we're here, even though we're talking about a rangefinder, you probably want to see where I'm at, so let's go play one of the holes. All right, so what you're seeing now, this is the 7th hole of the brand new Ocean course. So previously, there has been one course here, but they are in the process of turning that one course into 2 courses. So the front 9 that I played on this trip will be the front 9 of the Vineyard course, and then the back 9 that we played will be the front 9 of the brand new Ocean course. And so holes 7, 8, and 9 of the Ocean course, they are spectacular, right on the water, extremely pretty, and some of the most fun golf holes I've played in a while. All right, par 3, 7th hole of what will be the Ocean course at Fox Harbor. Beautiful downhill par 3 right on the water. You've got hole number 8 in the background. One of the most just stunning golf coastlines I've seen. So being this is kind of a signature hole, let's see if I can make a par. All right, we got the wind at our face just a little bit. Let's see what we can do. Hi. See if we got the distance right. Oh, it's a fun shot. All right, front part of the green. Got ourselves a bit of a putt. Let's see what we can do. All right, 7th green, Ocean course. We got like a 50-foot putt for our birdie here. I'm not sure I've got that in me, but let's give it a shot. All right, seriously long putt here. Let's see if this lab putter is actually all it's cracked up to be. All right, a little short, but I'm not too mad at that. Little 5-footer for our par. Let's see if we can make a putt here. All right, lab. Do your thing here. No dice. Have to take the bogey again. That doesn't change the fact this hole's cool. If you might remember, in the very beginning of the video, I said there was one thing that bothered me about this device that might be a deal breaker. And this is going to sound weird. This is not something I've experienced with many rangefinders. And that's when you're looking through it, it takes a little while to get my eye to line up perfectly with the viewfinder. Have you ever used a pair of binoculars and sometimes it's hard to adjust them so that you can actually see through? That's kind of how this rangefinder is. And so, like, even right now, I look through it, I'm having a tough time trying to get my eye to line up perfectly so that I can see the viewfinder. And that feels like a weird thing, but it's something that I've noticed throughout my time with this. The more I've used it, the more I've been able to kind of find the sweet spot and dial it in, but this is not something I normally notice with other rangefinders. I've not noticed it with other rangefinders, and it's just kind of a mild annoyance. So is it enough of a deal breaker that I would recommend against buying this? Honestly, no. This has been one of the best rangefinders I have used to date, aside from that one kind of annoyance. And like I said, the more I've used it, the more I've been able to kind of dial it in and figure it out, but it is something that I have noticed. The pros of the fact it's like the best name in rangefinders, it's wonderful build quality, it's fast, it's accurate, the optics look good when you can get it lined up, and that unique GPS feature is just so much more convenient than any other smart rangefinder I've used. I don't personally love the ones with the built-in screens, like the Milesea Gene Pro G1, for instance. Again, that's like a kitchen sink rangefinder. It is useful to be able to look at the GPS maps. The screen is really responsive, but it's not necessarily something I need. Personally, I don't think I'm going out of my way to usually get a smart GPS rangefinder because I personally use my watch, I use Arcos, I have other ways of getting GPS yardages, but the fact that this is all built in and I don't have to do anything else outside of what I would use a normal rangefinder for, and I get those GPS yardages, I think that's what makes this most compelling. So especially if you're someone who doesn't use a GPS app or you don't use a GPS watch, then the added benefit of those GPS distances definitely makes this worth the premium price and makes it one that I would consider over some other models. So with that, my name's Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here at Breaking 80. If you're still not sure which rangefinder is right for you, go take our 30-second rangefinder quiz. You're gonna answer a few questions around what you're looking for. I'm gonna give you my best recommendation on the device that I think is the best fit for you. With that, We're gonna finish up here at Fox Harbor. We have a 4-hour trip to head to Cabot, where I am just wildly excited to go play the 2 courses out there. They're going to be, I think, 52 and 53 on my personal top 100 list, and I've just heard so many amazing things. Nova Scotia has been excellent, and Fox Harbor Resort, if you are in Nova Scotia, it is a must visit. Very cool property with some very cool golf holes. I hope you have an excellent day. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.